I finished this book like over a month ago, but it's not fresh on my mind, so I had already written down the script for the review, so let's hope that this will be coherent. We're talking about Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu, part of the DC Icons series. They have the Batman one, and they have a Superman one, a Wonder Woman one, and a Catwoman one. It's kind of a weird lineup. But I was drawn to this book for months before I finally got it, because I'm very drawn to the idea of Batman novels. There aren't that many, and the ones that I have read aren't very good. And I'm happy to say this one was good. That's the whole video. See you around. So please subscribe, please. Before he was Batman, he was Bruce Wayne. A reckless boy willing to break the rules for a girl who may be his worst enemy. Basically, there's like this terrorist group called the Nightwalkers, and their agenda is to murder the extremely wealthy and privileged and steal all their money. On Bruce Wayne's 18th birthday, he has the sudden compulsive need to enact some vigilante justice. The first time he's ever felt that need, actually, which is kind of cool. It lands him with some community service at Arkham Asylum. While he's there, he meets this girl named Madeline, who is a member of the Nightwalkers, and they kind of hit it off. And that's the general premise. I've always been really interested in the part in Bruce Wayne's life between sad orphan in an alley crying over his dead parents and like crazy grown adult man training to be Batman with the League of Assassins. And I feel like most people try to key in on Bruce Wayne's later adult life right before he became Batman. I know that Gotham exists, but I don't want to watch it because it looks bad. But I can't think of any other media that just portrays Bruce Wayne as just like a teenager, except for maybe like Gotham High, but that's like a spin-off. The way this video is going to go down, I'm going to start with negative things first, and then we're going to get kind of into more neutral territory, and then we'll talk about the stuff I like. I feel like this video is going to be really boring because unlike Cruel Prince, where I had a lot of mixed feelings, this book was neat. There you go. Print that out, put it on the back of the book. Hagen Macy, mediocre booktuber, said that this book was neat. Okay, first of all, things I didn't really like that much. Number one thing that I hate about this book is it's fucking ugly. This is just one of those kind of like weird Photoshop where it's like a weird illustration, and then there's also some graphic design, and there's like what's clearly like photographs. It's mixed, it's weird, it makes it look like really juvenile, which I get it. Like a lot of books, this book is kind of juvenile. This book is like for young readers, so like I get it, I can give it a pass. But particularly with the paperback, it's got this weird, like flap thing here, so you've got a weird yellow strip. And then the side, it says DC Icons, and it's just so much, and I think it looks ugly as sin. Another thing I didn't really like that much, but again, it's not like a hate. So this book tries to kind of portray woke Batman. It's weird because the framework of this story seems like woke Batman would be kind of an easy thing to naturally integrate. The agenda of the Nightwalkers is to punish like overprivileged rich people. There's a lot of moments in the story where Bruce kind of acknowledges his privilege in many different regards. Bruce has this friend character named Diane from school. I don't know if she's based on a real character in the comics or if Marie Lu just invented her. There's a moment where Bruce is he's doing his community service at Arkham Asylum, and he's cleaning up the women's ward, and all the female inmates are like yelling through the bars like, hey, we got some hot stuff in here, like they're catcalling him. There's like a weird whole paragraph where it's like, suddenly Bruce realized just what Diane must put up with every day. And there's another moment where he's talking with Lucius Fox. Bruce just got in trouble with the police, and there's a narration where he acknowledges, if I had been black like Lucius, I probably wouldn't have been treated so well. You'd think with a premise like the one this book has, that it would be about Bruce kind of coming to terms with his privilege and grappling with that. No, it's just a bunch of characters telling him he is privileged and him very nicely corroborating that, being like, yeah, sorry. It's just, I don't think it's integrated that well. I think it's nice. God, this review is gonna suck. I just like this book too much. So these are more neutral thoughts. They're not really positive or negative. They're just like comments, questions. Who is the audience for this book? I do wonder. This book reads like a book for young readers. I was surprised to find it in the YA section. I feel like when I was 10 years old, I would have ate this up. And it's not unenjoyable for me as an adult, but it's super simple. The language is very simplistic. The plot is incredibly fluid. There's always something very exciting happening at any given moment. There's never really a quiet scene. At the same time, I remember reading this and at like the dead middle of the book, suddenly there's just like a really bad word, and then like 5 pages later, another really bad word. They say, I think, shoot and gosh darn. Then no other bad words for the entire rest of the book. And I'm not like a prude or anything. I'm not like, keep your swearing out of my Batman books. Or like, children shouldn't be reading this. I just found it very, very strange. 150 pages in, like, suddenly someone's screaming shit. It was really jarring and weird. Another comment is just the time period for this book. I question Marie Lu's decision to have there be like a very specific and defined time period for when this book is set, and having that time period be now. This really only comes into play that like a major plot point that she's written in is that everybody has smartphones and that Lucius Fox has designed an app on Bruce Wayne's phone that will become useful in the final fight. Because otherwise it's quite timeless, as I feel most comic book stories kind of are. It doesn't matter that there's like high-tech cars or these giant androids that Wayne Tech is building as like security measures, like whatever, it's a comic book story. It just seemed kind of weird to me that this book, which is purporting to be like a story about young Batman, his very deepest origins, takes place now. Like, it just seemed kind of pointless. Okay, cool, let's talk about things I like. This should be more fun, hopefully. I love seeing young Bruce Wayne. I love seeing like a young teenage Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, I think, is an iconic character, and I love him, you love him, but I don't think he's ever really very interesting. He kind of is just sad old man most of the time. It was cool seeing Bruce Wayne as just like a normal kid. And I can see how some people would be like, well, now it's just not even Batman. He's just some generic, children's book boy protagonist. I liked that about him. I liked that idea that this big, dark, gritty man was once this like kind of just chill, goofy kid. I love that absolutely nobody is intimidated by this 18-year-old boy. I love the idea of Batman, who of course would eventually become a vigilante, is just like living in a world full of like authority figures who genuinely have authority over him. The whole plot, of course, is that he gets in legal trouble after doing a vigilante thing, and he has to do community service. There's this detective character who's just like constantly like up his ass, being like, you don't know what you're doing, and he doesn't. He has to like actually work with people who know what they're doing. I liked seeing him during his kind of like darker, more detective-y moments. There are detective-y moments. It's not just him punching people. I feel like in a lot of Batman stories I've seen, at least, where the premise is, this is a story about before he was really good at being a hero, a Batman who's rough around the edges. I feel like that usually just translates to he's the exact Batman that you would expect him to be. He just like punches people too hard. I like seeing a version of Bruce Wayne who could never in a million years take on like some of the challenges he's gonna face later. Like, this is genuinely like he has a long way to go before he's ready to save anyone. But I believe Bruce can save the world. I don't know what I'm doing. I think Batman does have a history of getting into like relationships with women he totally shouldn't. And I like seeing presumably the start of that, where he enters this sort of somewhat romance with like a murderer girl who's locked in an asylum. And even he acknowledges like, why do I feel so attracted to her? It definitely is portrayed more like it's an attraction and an obsession and an interest rather than like a serious like love, which I like. That's it. That's all I got. Oh boy, is this video bad. It's bad. I really wish that they'd let Marie Lu write a sequel. I would read more of this universe. I would love to read more about 18-year-old goofy Bruce Wayne, but they're probably not gonna. I mean, they literally adapted this book into a graphic novel, which I think is so shady. Let's be real, most people are just gonna want to read the graphic novel. I wonder if Bruce appears in the Catwoman book. Although, when I was at Barnes & Noble and I checked this book out, the guy at the counter told me that he had read all of them. He thought this one was just okay. And he told me that the best one in the series was Wonder Woman, and the worst one was Catwoman. So I don't think I'm gonna read that one at all. So that's Batman Nightwalker. Please go buy it. Please buy more superhero novels. so there'll be a market for it, so I can get more novels that have Batman in them. Thank you.